Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at EOS. That's right, we're going to do it. It's an EOS day today. So EOS being one of the only things in the green while the rest of the market's in the red. Make of it what you will. It is what it is. Now, a couple of weeks ago we spotted that EOS had an uptrend signal confirmed. It was one of the only ones, charts that I recall seeing this continuation of a trend signal take place on. To be honest with you, it's pretty rare to find a chart that actually has this kind of signal. We've been playing pump signals from the Itchy Cloud, which is a different type of way to play it. Obviously, all of these tutorials you'll find on my YouTube and Patreon and all that lot. If you're not using the Itchy Cloud anyway, it's no big deal. But I suggest that you should use it. It is very useful. It can come in quite a valuable indicator, really. And this one has shown us a trend continuation signal. The trend continuation signal took place here, as this cross was the last thing we would be waiting for above the cloud. That was confirmed on this area here, 555, all the fives, and we had a pump and then a move back down. This is fine. All we want to see is that we don't get a negative cross of the blue across the red or the Chiku span touch price action. So far from that signal, which was generated at this wick here, or this candle body, we've still gone up 27%. So I mean, it's playing out as you would expect this indicator to do it, although it is an EOS chart. So just remember this, because EOS loves to do these moves up and then it just takes it all away. But you know, we've got to play the cards he dealt. Now, I didn't buy any more EOS. We've been looking at this for a while on the Patreon, and this was what I would have considered to be, you know, if anyone's going to buy into it, this would have been the buy zone, right? This is the zone to be buying at. I wouldn't want to buy any more of it at any other stage, but this would be the buy zone. And so that's done and dusted. The only other time you could have entertained buying some would have been on the face of that, on that signal was generated at all the fives, 555 sats, whatever it is, 555. So, as we're continuing with this trend, our moving averages are all basically moving into the right place. We've got a technical old school golden cross here, so simple moving averages, 50 across the 200 on simples, but my favourite is going to be the exponentials, and that looks like it'll take the best part of the week to form, maybe about 2 or 3 days to form. Again, until it forms, it's not a golden cross, you wait for it to be one, and the cross itself isn't a bullish thing, not the actual cross. It's very common to see a pullback into the cross as well, and that, you know, you might think that that's on, you know, completely crazy to come down to the tune of 20%, but those of you who know EOS know that is exactly what the sort of thing it likes to do. We started trading EOS back around here. We were buying into the accumulation zone around here. It's clearer on the tether pair, to be honest with you. All the setup is still here on the tether pair, but you can see it's relevant as well on the Bitcoin pair. So around about January into December, January, when the accumulation really began, and it was volatile as hell at this point anyway. Up, down, and then up, with signals to accompany that. So we were looking at it around these levels around here for the accumulation, and he had a big move up, a big back down, big move up, big back, blah 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 blah, all over the place. That's what it likes to do. Okay, so EOS can obviously do that, and I would expect that from EOS. But we have cleared a very significant area here, which we marked it off. It was 666, the mark of the EOS beast. We can draw this trend line back even further. We can see that there's relevance to it over here, which is the original accumulation zone that we bought into it at the very first time we were talking about EOS. This is when I became the EOS man, and if we could even extend it even further and find ourselves around this level before its massive parabolic run 2017 into 18. So, you know, this is baby steps, really. You know, we're not looking for anything major on EOS, and I would argue that on this, personally, I think, you know, it could easily be as far as it goes. The Itchy Cloud never gets you the bottom, never gets you the top. It gets you a slice of the price action in between. But because it is on a daily, I would normally expect to see continuation from it, you know, to a bit more than this. But it is EOS, and it does come with quite a large, it's enormous risk, basically. Whatever it gives, it takes back. Usually is the case. So we'll watch and monitor the way that this goes. I would like to see us hold above the 666 mark of the EOS beast, really. As you can see, that area has historically been a major pivotal area for it. Breaking down from it, using it as resistance, breaking down all this way. We've only just cleared it now, and you can see obviously these areas touching from it and going all the way up to, what, 400% move or so. So as we watch this golden cross form on the exponential moving averages over the rest of the week, we would hope to see that we don't get a negative cross on the Ichimoku cloud. Now these are quite tight, they've not diverged very far from each other, so it's slightly concerning to see that there hasn't been enormous divergence between the blue and the red, so your conversion baseline basically. But as far as the Chiku span is concerned, it's quite high, and if we can sustain these higher prices above 666 mark of the EOS beast indefinitely, or at least over the next 3 or 4 days until we get that golden cross, we could then probably sustain a deeper pullback and avoid the Chiku span touching that price action, and then maybe moving all the way back up. And that move would correspond with what might be the golden cross retest. So we're just thinking about something along these lines. And that's what we'll be looking for. Obviously the Chiku span is 26 periods behind price action, so that's why these two Nike ticks are basically looking the same. That's what you'd expect to see from both sides of the chart, whether it's price action and Chiku span, right? Excuse me. Outside of that, money flow index is high. It's not ridiculously high. There's no bearish divergence on the daily. We'll take this down to a 4-hourly, see what we can find. No bearish divergence on the 4-hourly either. But actually, yes, there is a bit of bearish divergence, and that is also, I suppose, fine in it to an extent, because we are entertaining the very realistic possibility of around about 15 to 18% pullback on this one before potentially carrying on with its bullish trajectory, right? So it's nice to see that the signals are working. So the first big push up here on the tether pair moved us up to the 200 exponential. So again, the tether pair is going to be lagging behind. What we did have was a pump signal on the Ichi cloud, so a different type of signal. This is the signal that offers a push up, and that's exactly what we got. Again, the Ichimoku cloud, providing us with a leading indicator here on both trend continuation and pump. What we'll be looking for, again, pull back on this one. We've got bearish divergence so far on the daily on this one, and accompanied with 4-hourly bearish divergence on the tether on the Bitcoin pair. So all eyes on Bitcoin pair, really, because that's where that is where the meat is, really, and we want to see closures preferably above 666 mark of the EOS beast, for it to sustain its current run and go on to make new highs on this one. If it does break down further, it can come down obviously below 666, but if it does, we'll be looking for it to basically go back down to its breakout level, which is, well, basically 555 or just above. So EOS actually looking okay, but okay for those who are already in it or took entries into the buy zone or on the signal itself. But again, EOS loves to take away everything that it gives. That's its favorite thing. When it comes to Bitcoin, generally speaking, though, I would be slightly concerned, and this is why I think that looking at the tether pair for EOS is less important than the Bitcoin pair, because I think that Bitcoin is likely to have a bit further of a pullback. Maybe it bounces back again from this particular area, which is about 20,600 or 700. And this is back into this range. If it were to break down from there, back down to around 19,200. But for the moment, it seems to be bouncing okay. The thing that would concern me a little bit would be the way that the Nasdaq is currently. It's not opened yet. Traditional markets don't open this early. But this is, the Nasdaq. This Nasdaq basically runs more or less on an 18-hour shift. So we'll be looking for, probably then the traditional markets to open a little bit down on today, really, as this one's already down by 1.5%. Oil basically not doing anything, and the Dixie looking like it wants to go on and make a new high. And I would expect the Dixie to make it all the way up above 12, 112 to 113. So we're not looking for any sort of major moves in crypto today, but maybe later on this week as Dixie approaches, and you might think this is unrealistic, but as it approaches 112 and Nasdaq comes down to some major supports which will be present on a weekly, we won't be looking at it like that, like the 10 exponential or the 20 simple. So again, Nasdaq coming down by 1 to maybe 3.5% from where we are at right now, so that'll be a 5% from the weekly open. and Dixie pushing up to probably about the same amount, really, looking to go up to those levels. So we're not looking for anything major today. Yeah, they're more or less mimicking each other, really. So in the inverse way. So I know this is an EOS video, and I'm quite surprised to see EOS having made that move a couple of weeks ago, but it did do it, and that signal was generated back then, and even though we couldn't believe what we were seeing, it's nice to see that signals are still playing out even on the shittest of coins. and look, I love EOS. EOS is like it's one of those things that sort of put my channel on the map a little bit when I was telling people to buy around here, and then led on to this move. Since then, though, there's nothing ever. We've not really been able to talk about it realistically because it's just basically been a pile of shite, really. But yeah, I mean, EOS has got a fond. It's got a place in our hearts on the channel, really, because of not because it only gave us a 4x, really, but it's because people don't believe in charts, don't believe in TA. They get too caught up in the fact that something is unfashionable or not cool, and everyone who wants to chase the massive gains and fail to recognise the signals in front of their faces now. But yeah, like I say, I'll be probably looking for this one to continue on its Bitcoin pair, which is where the signal is. And if Bitcoin pulls back with the Nasdaq, like it seems to want to probably do this week, we will probably see less of a pullback on Bitcoin pair, which makes it more realistic to assume that we'll probably either stay above 666 or at worst we'll come back down to the breakout level, which was basically 555. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. It's a good little chart, good little setup, but don't go buying into it now. It'll be completely crazy. The time to have bought in would have been in the buy zone or at the signal that was generated the other day at 555. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day and take it easy.